Recently, GM unveiled the much anticipated Hummer EV, which they're calling the world's first all-electric super truck. And I'd say it's pretty super. Mostly. The specs on this thing are pretty good, and it's clear that GM is going for Tesla with this behemoth. But is the Hummer EV a real step forward for GM, or just a half-hearted attempt at electrification? Hey everyone, Brandon here, and this is Time to Adult. If this is your first time here, thanks for stopping by. If not, thanks for coming back. The GMC Hummer EV debuted to the world recently in a promotional video where GM showed off the vehicle and provided a surprising amount of clarity on its specs. It was about as strong a shot at the Tesla Cybertruck as GM could make at this point, but it's unclear whether or not this will be enough to help GM survive the EV war that's brewing. That's why in this video, we're going to look at what was announced and we're going to see how it stacks up against competitors. So let's start with the powertrain. The Hummer EV will be the first vehicle built on GM's Ultium platform. The powertrain will come in a dual motor and tri-motor configuration, which will produce up to 1,000 horsepower and 11,500 pound-feet of torque. It will also boast a 0 to 60 time of 3 seconds. That's all pretty ridiculous compared to comparable ICE vehicles and even other EV trucks. It's obvious that they wanted the Hummer EV to be strong in the specs department. One thing the Hummer can do that its competition can't is crab walk. Yup, crab walk. By enabling four-wheel steering, the Hummer EV can turn its rear wheels up to 10 degrees, enabling it to move diagonally. I can't think of an instance where I would ever really use this, but it's a neat feature all the same. GM is advertising it as a mobility enhancement that will allow for traversal of tight trails. Now let's look at the battery and charging. No battery was disclosed, but the top trim Edition 1 will have a range of over 350 miles, which isn't bad, but I was honestly expecting closer to 400. GM says the battery will have a charge rate up to an insane 350 kilowatts through DC fast charging, which is a significant jump compared to Tesla's 250 kilowatt V3 supercharger. This will offer nearly 100 miles of range in about 10 minutes. GM doesn't have its own charging network, but has teamed up with other companies to offer charging. They also plan to build out their own network in the future, but the timeline for that is unclear. Next, autonomy and tech. The Hummer EV will offer the latest version of GM's Super Cruise driver assist technology, which will be capable of hands-free driving and automatic lane change. On around 200,000 miles of road, I'm assuming this is mostly highway too. This is a step in the right direction, especially compared to other EV trucks, but it's still a long way off from Tesla's autopilot. As far as tech, GM didn't play around with its screens. The Hummer will have a 12.3-inch display behind the wheel and a 13.4-inch center-mounted touch display. It hasn't gone completely buttonless like Tesla, but the screens do offer potential for added functionality. The Hummer's UltraVision system offers up to 18 cameras, including some waterproof ones on the underbody. I'm liking the emphasis on tech in the Hummer EV, and I think others will appreciate it as well. But we'll have to see how all this shiny stuff works in practice. Moving on to storage and utility. GM definitely seems to be pitching the Hummer EV as an adventure vehicle, and to that end, I think it works. But this definitely isn't practical as a work truck. The frunk offers decent storage, but the bed is too short to be of any use beyond general purpose. The multi-pro tailgate is pretty cool though. No word on towing and payload capacity either. This truck is absolutely designed for off-roading though. With its steel plate underbody, 35-inch tires, adaptive air suspension, and ability to ford rivers up to 2 feet in depth, the Hummer EV should be great for traveling off the beaten path. On to appearance and brand appeal. This is undeniably a Hummer. It has an aggressive and sporty look that will appeal to your inner adventurer. I see the Hummer as a bit of a paradox. On the one hand, we have outdoor features like the removable infinity roof and oversized wheels. On the other hand, we have a very tech-heavy interior with large displays and even a touch of luxury. This juxtaposition is even further on display with the fact that the Hummer, a vehicle historically known to be a gas guzzler and a huge middle finger to the environment, is the first electrified GM truck. It's a serious statement and quite poetic in my opinion. Hummer is an iconic brand, and I think it will have a lot of appeal to those who can afford it. More on that later. As for production, the Hummer EV will be produced in GM's Factory Zero, a Detroit plant that is undergoing a revitalization to serve GM's EV mission. The company plans to invest about $20 billion in EV and autonomous technology by 2025, and I think they see an electric pickup as a good way to improve margins and boost sales in the space. A truck is arguably easier to incorporate batteries into due to its size, and the appeal of a pickup in the US market is something that can't be overlooked. The Hummer will be among 20 EVs that GM will launch over the next 3 years, and the first deliveries are scheduled to occur in 2021. I was thinking of doing a video on Factory Zero and GM's EV plans overall, so let me know in the comments if that's something that you'd be interested in seeing. So how much does this thing cost? The Hummer EV will come in 4 trims and starts at $79,995 for the 250-mile range variant, but you're going to need to wait until 2024 for that one. If you want to get your hands on the Hummer EV Edition 1 debuting fall 2021, it's going to set you back $112,595. And you're probably going to still have to wait because that one's already sold out. Like seriously, it's sold out in less than 12 hours. Basically, this thing isn't cheap and it's above the price of other EV trucks. Except the Bollinger B2. Clearly, you can't be a badass on a budget. So how does the Hummer EV stack up against the Cybertruck? The Hummer EV is a strong, albeit expensive offering from GM. It looks good and has some nice tech, and the specs are decent as well. One could argue that the Hummer looks better than the Cybertruck and has a nicer interior, but this is really subjective. When it comes to the numbers, the reality is that the base model Hummer at 250 miles of range is more expensive than the top of the line Cybertruck at 500 miles of range with full self-driving enabled. Looking at utility, performance, and overall value, the Cybertruck wins hands down. But I can't argue with the appeal of the Hummer EV and the sense of familiarity that it brings to fans of the brand. While I expected better range and a lower price, I can see the Hummer EV doing well in its market, but it remains to be seen just how successful it will be and if it can help to save GM. But what do you think? Did the Hummer EV meet your expectations? How do you think the truck will perform? Would you buy one? Let me know in the comments. If you like this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and check out some of my other videos while you're here. This is a new channel, and I'd really appreciate it. With that, I'm Brandon, and this is Time to Adult. Thank you so much for watching, and I wish you the best on your journey toward a better tomorrow.